Ready, Mr. Swirsky? You ready? No problem. No problem. Economic development is now starting. Can I get a motion for approval for the meeting minutes of January 8th?
Hello? Anybody? Second.
Thank you. We have two pieces before us. The first item is a substitute offered as an amendment approving the project petition, the special assessments for special energy improvement project as amended related to the acquisition, construction, installation, improvement, and certain public improvements of City of Akron in cooperation with the Akron Energy Special Improvement Districts, approving the necessity of the projects, determining to proceed with the project, levying special assessments for the purpose of paying the cost of the project, approving a cooperative agreement and special assessment agreement related to that project, and declaring an emergency. Thank you.
Yes, if it please, Madam Chairman, members of the committee, this is basically the same piece you had 2 weeks ago that you put on consent agenda when Chris Burnham was here from the Development Finance Authority, spoke about the energy improvements of the PNC building. When they went out for the final pricing, the numbers changed. So they amended their petition to us. We had gotten a petition on January 8th. That's what the legislation initially referred to. So they amended the petition on, I believe it was the 18th. We had to change some of the language in the body of the agreement. So we now have this, back. Mr. DeShazer pulled, as the sponsor, pulled the initial legislation, and we have this in front of you again. And similar to 2 weeks ago, this costs the city nothing. These are private improvements, and it's going to be paid for by assessments on that private property. But their timing is such that they do need it to pass this evening. So I guess we're requesting that you suspend the rules in favorable report.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman. Is there any questions? Can I get a motion for suspension of favorable report with suspension of the rules?
Move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. We'll pass that out tonight.
Thank you.
The second item before us I really and truly had these.
Mr. Sims, do you want to vote on that last piece?
Beg your pardon?
Did everybody vote on this last piece as a committee? Okay.
Mr. Clerk, I think there was a first and a second, but I don't remember. I don't recall a vote.
I don't recall a vote, but I'm not.
All in favor? All opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll pass that out this evening. My computer seems to be stuck.
Mine is too.
And so I don't have the hard copy of the legislation.
Could we get that from Mr. Cook? You got me.
Thank you, Madam President. Item number 18, approving the project petition for special, no, that's not special assessment. Oh, 19, ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a grant agreement with Rogers Industrial Products, Incorporated, declaring an emergency.
Madam Chairman, members of the committee, Rogers Industrial entered into an agreement with us, and what the agreement says is that we're going to be helping them to be able to pay for the new upgrades to the boiler that will be given to them for their tire curing press operations. That they produce these tire curing presses down at the Canal Place entrance on Fayler Street. They own their building, and essentially what happens is we reap an additional 35 jobs and about $1,164,000 of new revenue coming in based on the income that's generated from it.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee? So, Mr. DeSager, we're talking about almost additional 35 new jobs coming to the area?
35 new jobs, and this gives them the capacity for expansion, and that's the reason why that we're bringing this to you now. I think you saw part of it in December, where we talked about the boiler increases. Our system didn't provide enough steam, heat, and pressure for the expansion. This gives them the ability to expand, and it also gives them the pressure amounts for the expansion. 35 jobs is what we settled on as the minimum number.
But it could get higher.
It could go higher than that.
So what are we talking about, the average salaries of those jobs, about 35?
Well, actually, it's about $34,800. Salaries grow with experience, and in this particular case, right now, I think that's a conservative number because they're one of the few people in the entire market that actually provides tire press curing equipment anymore.
Wonderful. It's really great to have them in our city. Is there any more questions from any member of the committee? Any questions from any member of council?
Do you want to talk about the kind of jobs that'll be paid?
Yeah, the production line where the job start at about $16 an hour, so they go between $16 and about $18 an hour at this present time. Many of those are production jobs that relate to people who have skills in metalworking, and also upgrades to do component-based upgrades as well. This is electronics on the new equipment. Old equipment was operated manually. Now we have CNC, and some of it is NC, which is computer numerically controlled equipment. So that's essentially what we're seeing, and we think this is good for Akron.
Thank you. Any more questions, comments? Is consent okay?
That's fine.
Can I get a motion for consent?
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. There is nothing else to come before the committee. We are now adjourned.